This is the Aldi Ambiano brand Countertop Ice Maker. Now, I've already reviewed a countertop ice maker just like this, also from Aldi under the Kitchen Living brand, which is this one right here. This video is also for you if you are looking to purchase one of these countertop ice makers. They are all the same and all work the same, and in fact, if you look at the scoops here, besides a little bit different color in the plastic, they're absolutely otherwise identical between the two units that I have. That means that these machines really are all the same, with a little bit different case styling and fan grills and whatnot. Why did I get a second one? Well, the first one is still working. There's no problems with it really to speak of. The ice that these machines produce are very nice small round cubes, and that really cools your drink off really fast. And we do go through a lot of ice, but either which way, it's good to have a spare, because ever since I got one of these things, I don't even bother putting ice trays in the freezer anymore. The design of this one is a bit different. As you see, there's a big grill over here with a fan inside. The other one has a fan in really just the same orientation in that, except without that round metal grill there. It's otherwise pretty much the identical machine. Cover is redesigned, as is the control panel location. You do have a smoked plastic thing over here, so you can see a little bit more of the inner workings of the machine, which is kind of cool. But other than that, it's exactly the same machine. Here's your control panel here. Add water, ice full, power, small and large. It's not as nice of a control panel, but it really doesn't make a difference. It just has to be there and be functional. They give you a nice scoop. The basket, it's made out of a different plastic than the other one. And the inside over here has the same 9 ice pegs there where the cubes form and fall down, and this is the little shovel here that picks it all up and we'll dump it in, and of course we'll have a demonstration of it and both working. Another interesting thing to note is this bump out over here. I guess it's there to hold the tray in place as a front anchor, because it has a little wall back there and there. And the little filter thing at the bottom is also a little bit different. It's at that strange 45-degree angle instead of just being flat. Although hard to see, it does have a max line right here where you put water up to. So let's put some water in and we'll get it going. Anyways, here we go. Everything's ready right there. I'll open the lid up and I will press the power button. Well, it has started. The fan is not running. Apparently the firmware on this one is a little different than my other one, where the the fan just picked up and started going. Like I'm saying, the firmware is a little bit different, where it went and filled the tray first before doing anything else, and once it was good and full, then it kicked on the compressor and got started. So I'm going to leave this until it's ready to harvest its first batch of ice. The ice that this is going to produce for the first several cycles, they say 3 in the book, but it's really more like 5 to 7, is going to be small and irregular and not really good. What that's good for is like munchy ice, where you get to, it's like kind of a soft ice where you can kind of just take it right out of the bin here and crunch on it if you like to chew on ice like that. Anyway, it is running, and oh yeah, it's definitely getting cold. So we'll wait for our first batch of ice. You can also see down into the chamber where the ice is being made. Right here is where the refrigerant flows, and you have your 9 ice pegs, 4 in the back and 5 in the front, and you can kind of watch down in there. It does appear that it is actually starting to form cubes. There's just not enough light in the right areas here to show you precisely, but it is certainly doing the trick. Now you can select between small and large ice cubes. There's really not much difference between them. I tend to set it on the small cubes, which I will do later on. Right now it's set on large cubes. Again, in the end, they're really all the same size. The book does say that if it's above 86 degrees Fahrenheit to use the large cubes, if it's below 60 to use the small cubes, so I guess anything in between is fair game for whatever you want to do. I'm waiting for the other machine. I'll do a startup of this one to give you an idea of how it's a little bit different, but yet still the same. That starts the compressor and fan immediately in the defrost cycle where the ice would drop. And after that, the little bucket and shovel come up. And that starts filling with water back there. The other machine did 3 pulses. When you first plug the machine in, it will do that, or after it runs out of water. This was just in a standby state as it was, and it does fill till it overflows. And in fact, the pump is going a little faster because this one is almost out of water, but it'll be good for one batch certainly. Sound difference between them is about the same. Here's the Ambiano brand. Kitchen Living brand. This one you hear a little bit more of the refrigerant flowing through, but it's otherwise the same difference. Now if you look carefully in here, you can see that the whole top of this is white, and that's frost on there. The entire thing just ices up like that, which is good because that's what makes ice. Goes. And there you are. And that's going to refill and start the process all over again. One potential interesting thing is the tray here and how it has this rather large opening. It just so turned out that one of the cubes ended up fitting right in it there, and I'm wondering if you might lose a cube or two only in the very first cycles through that. But again, the ice that this makes for its first few go-arounds is very irregular, and it only gets better as it runs more. This one is also running just fine here. It has not dropped its first set of ice yet, but it should be doing that soon. Now Now you'll see the cubes out of this one are a lot smaller than out of the other machine. These are a lot longer, so perhaps they'll be a little bit larger, but otherwise they do exactly the same job in the same way. One other thing I found is it's very hard to get this ice tray to sit flat. It always seems to want to sit at an angle in this machine for some reason, which is a little strange, but it won't impact the performance of it whatsoever. Here is the information on the back sticker of the machine. It actually lists its rated power, the ice making current, and the ice harvest current. And it uses R134A as a refrigerant. Now, as a comparison, here's the kitchen living one, and it does not list all of its ice making and ice harvesting, but it does list the current at 2 amps, so they are pulling about the same. The backs of the machines look, well, almost identical. This one being the Ambiano. It has some slots in that, where that one doesn't. But otherwise, they're really the same unit, just a little bit different all around in terms of styling. It's like having a 2015 model year car and a 2016 model year car, or whatever the particular years are. They're virtually identical usually, but there can be some minor differences. So anyway, now that there's two of them, I'm sure you want to see a run-up and cycle of both of them, so let me get the tripod set up and everything, and we'll go from there. Okay, now we're going to have sort of a head-to-head competition here. I'm going to turn them both on at the same time, and I take it that the kitchen living one is actually going to be a little bit faster in making ice than the Ambiano one, but we're talking really a couple of seconds. Now sure, at the end of the day it adds up to maybe 1 or 2 cycles that the Ambiano couldn't do, but I think it's really one and the same for the most part. So I'll turn them both on, I'll hit them both to small cubes, and we'll go from there. Let's see, that's the on and off button there and there. We'll change them to small. Okay, both machines are running. The fan on both are running. I did also find out that the fan on here is actually temperature controlled, but it's at there's a very small margin of error there. In other words, if it senses really almost anything above room temperature, it automatically starts up, and then it'll shut down. The way I found that out was by short cycling it, unplugging it while it was running, plugging it back in and turning it on, because it will wait before refiring the compressor. But if you unplug it, it doesn't know that it was running last, and it would try to restart it, and of course it thermaled out, and while it was sitting there without the compressor running, the fan shut off, and eventually it reset, the compressor restarted, and a few moments later the fan started. Anyway, I'll just let this go for a number of cycles and we'll take it from there. And after all that, here is the kitchen living ice cubes. You see they're very small bullet-shaped cubes, but the Ambiano one has really large cubes. They're a lot longer, but once again there is one in the center there that looks like it might melt and go through. It's again the same difference at the end of the day. The smaller ice cubes are actually a bit nicer because they allow for more surface area in your drink, which allows it to get even colder faster. These here are larger, which means that you don't have quite as much surface area, but I'm sure we're really only talking a little bit here. And again, the ice that we have here is not representative of what these machines are always going to produce. This is more of the ice that I end up getting out of the kitchen living one, because obviously I just got the other one today. And you can see it's much thicker walled, just like that, but still on the small side. So they will thicken up like this and give you some decent sized cubes, and this again was on the small setting. So that was again a review of the Aldi Ambiano brand Countertop Ice Maker, which applies to any other countertop ice maker, whatever brand it is. You can see that the machines are very similar in their operation, with some minute differences, but really nothing earth-shattering between the two. So once again, that further proves that no matter what the name on the unit, they all come out of the same factory in China, and the only difference is the label that they slap on the front of it. It's all the same stuff, pretty much whatever you get. There are some differences here and there. I would like to urge you to watch my other video, Harbor Freight by Any Other Name. It's still the same, for more examples of that, should you be interested. And of course, I will put a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.